Well, well, well. Interview the Vampire on AMC has finally made its debut. So what do I think? So, Interview the Vampire, starring Jacob Anderson as Louis and Sam Reed starring as Lestat, has made its debut on AMC. So the long-awaited debut is finally here, and I finally got to see it. I've been super hyped and excited from the trailers I saw at the Super Bowl, all the teasers. That's the only reason I cared about the Super Bowl, was because it had the teaser for Interview the Vampire. And so I've been really hyped for the show. I thought it had a lot of potential going in. When a lot of people did not like what they saw, I still held out hope. So having seen the first pilot episode, what did I think of the actual episode? The actual episode itself was mainly focused and based on the human life of Louis de Pointe du Lac, just like in the novel. And that's kind of where it ends. So I would say that before I go any further, if you are a fan of the book, as we all are, I'm going to be honest right here. So we all love the original Anne Rice novel, but you're looking for a spot-on interpretation, not even a reimagining. But if you're looking for an interpretation that is spot-on, just like the book, I would say stick with the original film starring Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise, because what I just told you is pretty much where the comparisons are. Everything else, for the most part, I would say 99%, 95 maybe percent of what's on this pilot episode is different than what was in Anne Rice's original novel, Interview with the Vampire. And that's not to say that that is a bad thing, because the reason what makes it work, in my opinion, is the acting of Sam, Jacob, and the entire cast. And it's got a compelling story to it that makes you enthralled and to want to know more, to see more. Yeah, it's not the same. So like I said, if you're looking for something that's exactly the same as the book, definitely check out and stay with the original movie. I think that you're going to be more satisfied, because this TV series is definitely more based on Anne Rice's works. Not to say it's a total betrayal, or to say that it strays so far away that you don't even recognize the characters, because the characters are there, and the explanations that they give make sense, such as when we saw the trailer or the teaser and we all saw how Daniel Malloy was so old. Well, they make an explanation. Here's a little bit of a spoiler, just about the only spoiler I'll give. So they explained at the start of the episode that Daniel Malloy originally tried to interview Louis back in 1973. The original interview that we see in the book and on the Brad Pitt film, this Daniel Malloy tried to give that interview, and Louis began to give that interview, but the interview did not go out without a hitch, and it got, for one reason or the other, the interview did not get completed. And so now in the TV series, Daniel Malloy, 40 years later, is trying a second chance to get the interview with the vampire Louis. And so here we are, and that explains why Daniel is older in the TV show, which was a huge thing that people had a thing against, but they did give a reason to why he is older in this TV show. So they have several nods to the book that the Brad Pitt movie never had, such as on this first episode, we get to introduce to Louis' brother, something that was completely ignored in the original film. And just as in the book, Louis' brother is a religious fanatic, and Louis is very much not. So the contrast between the two is still played out similar to the way it was in the original novel, such as the brother being almost religious to the point of you question his sanity at times. And so they do conflict, but they still love each other, same as what was in the book. And it is the depression of what happens to the brother, same as what's in the novel. So if you read the book, you know what's going to happen to the brother. That's the reason that they give here. So in that way, and in that sense, they are sticking to the book. Now, to me, the one that I really wanted to pay attention to was Sam, who plays Lestat in this series, because as we know as fans, the Vampire Chronicles is really the story of Lestat, because Louis is here and there. He's the main focus of the original Interview with the Vampire. But if this series continues, we know that Lestat will be the main focus. So how did Sam do as Lestat? Right off the bat, I was really interested and captivated with his performance, because he gave something to the character that I never really thought of, but made complete sense, that Tom Cruise and then the other guy from Queen of the Damned, Stewart, what they didn't bring that he brought to the character is the French accent, because as soon as you see Lestat, you hear the French accent, because he's French. I mean, it makes sense. He's a French prince, so why not have a French accent? You know, I've been growing up with the Tom Cruise, like I said, as Lestat for so long that I never really even thought about it. But as soon as Lestat spoke and he had the French accent, I was like, whoa. It was like a revelation, like, you know, it's like, duh. Something that should have been in the character that this actor brought. In that, right off the bat, I knew I was going to really enjoy his portrayal. And like I said, the story is almost 95 or more different than the original novel. Like I said, the bones are there, but the circumstances behind why things happen and the way things happen are different. So I get why in this modern age, why certain characters have been changed, why you can't really do things, even if it's based on a book and a novel. There were certain things I know that people would be really sensitive about nowadays. I mean, they even put a warning at the beginning of the first episode saying if you are triggered by suicidal thoughts and so forth, then heads up, this episode is going to tackle that scenario. So with us in our world, the way we're living in now, I'm not surprised that they looked at the book and said, yeah, we might want to change a few things. And like I said, it works. In my opinion, it worked. Having Louis, changing his backstory, he's still a Southern man, he's still a Southern gentleman, and he is from a wealthy family. So, like I said, the spirit of Louis is there. They've changed, yes, they've changed who he is physically. They've changed certain situations, his occupation, but the spirit of who Louis is still there. And same goes for all the characters that you see. And also, they are able to do things now in the modern era that they kind of shied away from in the original film, that they did not want to have on screen, such as dealing with what happens to certain characters. I don't want to give anything away of this episode. And so, moral of the story is that it's 95%, that's the title, I guess, is 95% different. But what makes it work is the writing is really good and the acting is fantastic. Especially there's a scene between Louis and a priest. Again, that's not in the book per se, but that scene and the acting is, like I said, it's just great. You just lose yourself into the episode, into the story, and I think Anne would be proud. They have changed, like I said, her work, and I would say it is based on Interview with the Vampire, but they did not smear it in the mud. It has me interested, and they have teasers for the next season, for what's coming up this season. It's got me looking forward to what's coming. I like the acting, the story, and I was not disappointed. And I think that if you have an open mind and you're willing to give it a shot, to not really nitpick it like that's wrong, that didn't happen, that's not the character, who's that guy? If you're not willing, if you're going to be that way, you're not going to like this episode. Or it may win you over. It won me over. I was kind of worried that they were going to go, I think, going to go like Queen of the Damned. You know, they took Queen of the Damned, the film, and they went so far away from the novel in a bad way. In this show, they go away from the novel, I guess, but they keep to the spirit and what I think Anne would have really enjoyed. So, I really like this episode, if you don't know by now. And I am looking forward to the next, which apparently is coming out tomorrow. I'm recording this as of today, Saturday. And according to the app, it looks like it's going to come out tomorrow with the next episode. But we'll see, but I will see what I think. But I think it's got a promising future ahead. Anyway, guys, I will see ya and talk to you later. Bye. Oh yeah, and then the last scene of the episode, Louis cries. Of course he does. But he cries blood tears. And I was like, yes, yes, with my wife there. And I rewound it and I said, look, blood tears. And that, I didn't know blood tears would be that big deal to me. But apparently it was, because I knew that was in the novel. And I saw the tear. I always thought that in the film, that's what the film was missing, because Brad Pitt would cry a lot and it wouldn't be blood tears. So Anne Rice did it first, even though True Blood did it on the show first. Anne Rice was blood tears. Blood tears for life. Anyway, guys, I'll see you later. Bye.